Hey there and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Natalie France and this space is all about cultivating self-love through the practice of yoga. If you haven't already done so, please do go ahead and subscribe to this channel and hit the bell so you get notified each time I upload a new video. Today's session is going to focus on working your back, so I will get into more about that in just one moment. Back. As I said, today's session is all about focusing on working your back. So there'll be a bit of back bending, a bit of kind of lengthening through the back body as well. And it's all about you having your own back, being your own support on your journey of self-love. So really working that phrase, having your own back essentially. You're going to start here in a variation of a child's pose. So rather than having toes together and knees either side of the mat, have your knees slightly underneath your hips, sit back into your heels as you reach those arms out in front of you and rest your forehead down towards the ground. So you're effectively also resting onto your thighs. Keep those elbows lifted as you lengthen the arms out in front and take a moment to breathe into your variation of child's pose. Connecting to that natural rhythm and flow of your everyday breath, but aiming to inhale and exhale in and out of the nose as you connect to your natural breathing. And for a moment, bringing your focus back to the theme of today's session. So working your back, therefore having your own back, supporting yourself on the journey of self-love, and always remembering that you are your number one support. You're going to be the one that's always going to have your back through the good times, through the bad times. You're always going to be there for yourself. And with that said, transition from this variation of your child's pose into a variation of cow pose. So on those inhales, lift up onto your knees, bring a bit of weight forwards, arch your back, lift your chest, take the gaze up to the ceiling. As you exhale, come back into that start position, that variation of your child's pose. So inhale, lift up onto the knees, drop the belly down as you arch the back, lift the heart. Inhale, sit back onto your heels. Keep working through this movement. Go into the rhythm of your own breath, but there's no need to go fast here. So it's a nice slow movement to start to warm up your body. So when you come back to your inhale, lift up and hold it here. So shine your collarbone, shine your heart forward, shoulders back and down into your upward facing dog. So tense the glutes, shoulders back and down. You can keep the knees down if you need to, otherwise lift the knees off the ground. Engage with your glutes. So strengthening your glutes is also great for working and strengthening your back body as you hold it here. Take another inhale in. As you exhale, knees down, sit back onto your heels. Come forwards, shoulders back and down, shine the heart forwards, lift the knees off the ground unless you really need to keep them down. Take an inhale, exhale, knees down, sit back onto your heels. One more time, bring yourself forwards, lift your heart, shoulders back and down, inhale, exhale, lift those knees off the ground, hold it here now in your upward facing dog. Again, you can have the knees down if you need to, but tense and engage those glutes. Take one more inhale. Now as you exhale, push up and back into your downward facing dog. Your feet might already be nicely aligned. So feet are hip distance apart. Press the heels down to the ground to feel that lengthening and that stretch into your hamstrings. Spread your fingertips nice and wide. Press into the pads of your fingertips rather than bend weight in your wrists, and start to pedal out your knees now in your downward facing dog. You exhale to bend one knee. You inhale in your transition. You exhale to bend the opposite knee. So bring that movement into your downward facing dog. Continue going like this for just a few more rounds. And then bring yourself back to stillness in your downward facing dog. Press your heels down to the ground once more. Find that stretch in the back of your legs into your hamstrings. Take an inhale Exhale, lift your right leg up to sitting into a three-legged dog. Keep your right hip drop down to the ground. You can point your right toes. Keep drawing your left heel down to the ground to get that stretch once more in the left side. Take an inhale. Exhale, bring your body weight forward. Step your right foot in between your hands. So that right knee is tracking over your right ankle. Then bring yourself up into a lunge position, raising the hands above the head. From here, you start to lengthen through your right leg, find your balance. As you exhale, bend the right knee so it tracks over the ankle, bring your elbows into your sides, so that lat pull, puff your chest forwards. Inhale, lengthen your arms up as you lengthen through the right leg. Exhale, draw those elbows into the sides, so you bend that right knee. So as you work in and out of your lunge, you're working lat pull, so working into your latissimus dorsi, the muscles in your back as you go up and down. Just be careful of your balance each time you go up. Keep pressing your right foot into the ground. Ground it down to find that balance. Bring those elbows in. Reach back up. Hold it down back in lunge. Keep those elbows drawn in. Puff your chest forwards. Hold it here. Breathe into it. Right knee tracks over ankle. Left knee lifted. Draw the left heel back as you hold it here. Take one more inhale. Exhale. Lengthen back up once more. And then bring your hands behind you, interlace the fingers, and then start to pivot yourself over to the left side as you come into that wide V shape. Toes in, heels out. Press the palms of the hands together, so actually do this rather than this. Do this behind your back. Puff your chest forwards. Take a deep inhale in. As you exhale, shine your heart up to the ceiling and start to come forwards into your forward fold here. Drawing your arms away from the body, keeping that back nice and straight. So lengthen through your back body. Release the head down so you're not tensing the neck. Have a soft bend in the knees. If your hamstrings are quite tight, have a deeper bend in the knees. Don't worry too much about having straight legs. It's not too important here. Release that head down. Keep drawing the hands away from you, so lifting your arms up towards the ceiling. Tip your weight forwards to evenly distribute your weight as you hold it here and breathe into it. Deep inhales and exhales. Find that length through your back body. So inhale, exhale to go deeper into forward fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to go deeper into the forward fold. Take one more inhale to lengthen. Exhale to go deeper into that forward fold. Then from here, really slowly on an inhale, start to bring yourself back up. And as you come all the way back up, coming all the way up to standing, transition into your goddess pose. So toes out to the sides now, heels in, slide down your imaginary wall to let your tailbone down to the ground. Have the palms of the hands resting on to your thighs. Take a deep inhale in. As you exhale, you're twisting to your left side. So bring your right shoulder forwards and your left shoulder back as you hold it here into that twisted goddess. So twisting into the thoracic spine, twisting into that position as you hold here. One more inhale. As you exhale, come over to your left leg. So turn your left toes to face now. What is now going to be the front of the mat. Frame your left foot, lift the right heel off the ground so you're on your toes and step your left foot back into a high plank position. Hands under shoulders, fingers widely spread. Press away from the ground to have that protraction through your shoulders. Lengthen through to the crown of the head. Keep a micro bend to the elbows so you're not hyperextended. Lift your navel into your spine. Strong core helps to strengthen and engage your back. If you need a modification, have your knees down. Otherwise, keep them lifted. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, modify Chaturanga, knees down, release your toes, come all the way down to the ground, elbows hugged into the sides. Inhale, lift your chest, shoulders back. You can stay here in a low cobra or lift up to upward facing dog, knees down off the ground, absolutely fine. Make sure your shoulders back and down, your toes are released out behind you. Engage your glutes, so tense your glutes here. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, press up and back into a downward facing dog. This time take an inhale in. Exhale, left leg goes up to sink into a three-legged dog. Keep that left hip drop down. Draw the right heel down to the ground also. Take an inhale. Exhale, step your left foot in between the hands. Make sure that left knee is tracking over the ankle. Lift yourself up into that lunge once more. Bring those hands above the head. Keep the arms nice and lengthened as you lengthen your left leg. And now as you exhale, bend the left knees, track over the ankle, elbows come into sides. Puff your chest forwards. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to bend. So working those lat pulls once more to work into your back body. Again, this is all about strengthening your back and having your own back on your journey to self-love. Take one more inhale to come up. Exhale, bring yourself down into that lunge once more. Puff your chest forwards, draw those elbows in towards your sides, hold it here. Then start to interlace your fingers behind you, turn to your right side, pivot the toes in, heels out to side. So again, clasp the hands, press the palms together. Inhale, lift your chest, shine your heart to the ceiling. Exhale, come down into that forward fold. Lengthen through your back body, so shoulders back, no rounding of the spine here. Release the head, tip the weight forward to evenly distribute your weight. You inhale to lengthen. Exhale to go into that forward fold if you're trying to go deeper. Keep that soft bend in the knees. You can of course have a deeper bend in the knees if your hamstrings are very tight once more. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, forward fold. Feel that lovely stretch in your hamstrings, that lengthening through your back body. On a long inhale, then start to slowly come all the way up once more. Nice and slowly, no need to rush here. Once you come up to standing, release grip of your hands, toes face out, heels come in, come down into that goddess pose once more. So lengthen that tailbone down to the ground, hands come onto your thighs, take an inhale. On the exhale, you're twisting towards your right leg, so your left shoulder comes forward and your right shoulder goes back. Keep the tailbone nice and lengthened down towards the ground, so you don't need to stick the bum back. You might lengthen the tailbone down as you hold here and breathe into that twist. Deep inhales and exhales. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, bring your weight over to the right side. Frame your right foot now back to your original front of the mat. Right toes face the front. Left heel comes off the ground. Step back into your high plank. Hold that high plank. Fingers widely spread. Press away from the ground. Find that protraction, that broadening through your shoulders. Have a micro bend in the elbows. Lift your navel into the spine. Press your heels back. Again, you can have your knees down if you need a modification. Take your gaze to the front of the mat. Create that length from your heels all the way through your spine to your head. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, modified or full Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale up to a cobra or an upward facing dog. Hold that upward facing dog. Knees down off the ground is fine. Just make sure the toes are released out behind you. Engage your glutes, shoulders back and down. Hold here. Find that open feeling across your chest. Working your upward facing dog, which is a back bend. So hold it here. Deep inhales and exhales. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, bring your knees down to the ground, so your knees are hip distance apart. Knees stay underneath your shoulders. Start to walk your hands all the way out in front for your extended puppy stretch. Rest your forehead down towards the ground. Also think about pressing your chest down towards the mat as well as you hold here. And breathe into your back body. Keep those elbows lifted off the ground as you hold it here. Deep inhales and exhales. Keep breathing into it. Bring that focus back to how you have your own back on your journey of self-love, and always be there for yourself. Always know that you're going to celebrate your wins. You're going to help yourself through those tough times. You are always going to be there for you. Starting to walk your hands back in towards your body from here. Step your right foot in between the hands. Make sure that right knee is tracking over the ankle. Bring yourself up. Hands to prayer to heart center. Take a deep inhale in. As you exhale, twist your right side so your left elbow comes to the outside of your right knee. Keep your thumbs to prayer to heart center. So avoid it kind of dipping down the prayer going away from you. Prayer to heart center. Use that engagement of your left elbow and your right knee to inhale. Exhale to go deeper into a twist. You can keep your left knee down, otherwise tuck your left toes and lift up into your full version of your evolved side angle, holding here. Either take your gaze down to the ground if that's best for your neck and your balance, otherwise feel free to take your gaze up to the ceiling as you hold it here. You take one more inhale. On the exhale, your gaze is up, bring your gaze down, bring your left hand to the inside of your left foot. And then stepping back into a wild thing. So from here, just take your right hand onto your hip, bring the outer part of your left foot onto the mat, and then slowly start to bring your right knee into your chest. Your right foot comes off the ground, and then step your right foot behind. Okay, lift your hips up to the ceiling to find that strength in your back body. Feel free to take your right hand behind you as you hold it here. If you need a modification, bring your right knee down to the ground, and then keep your left leg nice and long and just lift yourself up that way if you need to modify the move in some way, shape or form. Finding your wild thing, hold it here, take one more inhale. As you exhale, slowly see if you can control your right knee coming in towards your chest. You almost pass through a side plank. Right foot comes forwards, reach both hands out in front of you so you're reaching over your right thigh. Lengthen through your spine. Take your gaze ahead rather than directly down. Breathe into it. Take one more inhale. Exhale, hands swing your right foot, step back into your high plank. Take an inhale. Exhale, Vinyasa of your choice. Modified or full Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale up to cobra and upward facing dog. Exhale, push up and back into a downward facing dog. Release your head down, take your gaze either to your navel or between back of the legs. Press into the pads of the fingertips, draw your heels down to the ground. Take another inhale in. As you exhale, start your knees back down to the ground in a tabletop position. Bring your left foot in between hands this time, left knee tracks over the ankle. As you lift yourself up, bring your hands to prayer to heart center. Take an inhale. Exhale, twist to your left side so your right elbow comes to the outside of your left knee. Again, use the elbow, right elbow and left knee to twist. You inhale, exhale to twist. The prayer is not going away from you. The thumbs stay against the sternum. You can keep that right knee down, otherwise tuck the toes of the right foot and lift your right knee into your full version of your evolved side angle. You can keep your gaze down or take your gaze up to the ceiling as you find a moment of stillness to hold here. You take one more inhale. If your gaze is up and you exhale, bring your gaze down. Then bring your right hand to the inside of your left foot this time. Take your left hand onto your hip to start with. So if your knee is down, then obviously you can just take your foot behind from here. Otherwise, you're going to slowly navigate that left foot up, knee into chest, and step your left foot behind you into your version of your wild thing. So your left knee can of course be down to the ground. Otherwise, press your hips up with the left foot down and find that back bend in your wild thing. Hold it here. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, almost transitioning through that side plank to draw your left knee into your chest. Left foot comes down to the ground and you're then reaching both hands forwards into that lunge, lengthening through your back body, spine nice and straight. Lift your belly off your left thigh as you hold here and breathe into it. Palms face in towards one another. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, frame your left foot and step back into a high plank. Modified or full Chaturanga for your Vinyasa. Vinyasa, so exhale down. Inhale up. And then from here, back into a child's pose. Toes together, knees on the side of the mat, lengthen your arms out in front of you. Rest your forehead down to the ground. Aim to keep your elbows off the mats. Finding a moment of stillness here in your child's pose. Once more, thinking about how you can always be there for yourself on your journey of self-love, having your own back, so to speak. From here, starting to walk your hands back in towards your body for a version of hero's pose that feels comfortable for you. So working into reclined hero's pose, but if that's not for you, we're going to start here. So starting with your normal hero's pose. Therefore, your knees want to be together and your heels out to the side. So your knees stay together and then your heels look like this behind you, sit in between that space, okay? Any knee injuries, then this would be a no-no. So anything going on your knees, just stay with your heels underneath you into normal kneeling position. If that's too much, come to cross-legged. If that's too much, just keep the legs out here. Hands to prayer, hands on thighs, close your eyes. Think about lengthening through the spine, okay? If you're coming with me on that journey to work towards your hero's pose, reclined hero's pose, you start in a normal hero's pose, so knees stay together, heels out to the sides, your knees never separate. If they start to separate, you come back to this version and this version alone. If you're going one step further, you bring your hands onto the mat and navigate your arms down to the mat as you hold here. Keep lifting out your shoulders, this might be enough for you. If you're going into full reclined hero's pose, you come all the way down to the ground, so you find that lovely stretch in your thighs and your hip flexors. Your knees should still be together. Again, they're separated. Take yourself back to that original version. Shoulders pressed on to the ground, head rests into the ground. Your mid and lower back will be off the ground probably. So hold here and find a moment to breathe into wherever you are in this particular pose. If you happen to be in this full version of your reclined hero's pose, you start to bring your chin to chest and walk yourself back up onto your forearms to safely come out of it. If you're on your forearms, you start to bring yourself back to a normal hero's pose, and then we all come into a tabletop position, hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Take an inhale as you exhale into an angry cat to round through your back body. Hold it here to counteract that back bending in your hero's pose, reclined hero's pose specifically, as you hold it here. Take an inhale, exhale, bring yourself back to a neutral spine and find yourself in a comfortable seated position. Easy pose, crossed legs, kneeling, whatever feels the best option for you to go into. Once you're there, you can have the palms down or hands to prayer to heart center. Close off your eyes. Before you do anything else, think about lengthening through your spine, so go nice and tall through your spine. And then once you've found that length, bring your chin to your chest, create that length through your neck as well. So again, having that awareness of how you are always going to have your own back on your journey of self-love. This is about how you can support yourself, and that you are effectively going to be that one person who is there in the great times, who's there in the bad times. The one person you can always rely on is yourself. Thank yourself for showing up to today's yoga session. I, as always, thank you as well. Take one more deep inhale in through the nose. Deep exhale out through the mouth to release. Lower your gaze down behind closed eyes. So as you start to flicker open your eyes, your gaze is already down. And then slowly lift in the gaze when you're ready. Thank you so much for joining me today. As always, I really do appreciate you being here. Give the video a like if you loved it. Spread the news, tell other people about me as well. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Bye.